Hi, I'm Alex Archbold, and I've been buying and selling antiques since I was 9 years old. From basements to scrapyards, I'll look just about anywhere I can to find lost antiques and collectibles. And sometimes I'll go big and buy everything. With my wife and kids, we run an antique shop in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, filled with some of the most unique items we can find. I never know what's going to happen or who I'm going to meet. This is our life, this is our adventure, and this is Curiosity Inc.
From home, honey.
Hey guys, and welcome to today's episode. As you know, I've been working my tail off getting things ready for another big auction sale. That's going to be happening probably, I think, next week. They're going to have all the pictures up, and then through October 3rd, everything's going to go. And this time we have all sorts of stuff, from toys to jewelry, tons of jewelry actually from Madame Rack. They went and opened the other safe deposit boxes, and there's a lot of diamonds and gems and all kinds of crazy cool stuff that's going to be there. Antiques, antique firearms. Boy, I put a lot of stuff through, pocket watches, you name it. Anyway, it's going to be a great sale. We're looking forward to it. And to kind of set the mood right, I'm going to go and make a visit this morning and visit a friend and talk a little about the sale and also what they've been up to. So let's go for a ride. It's been a while since I've been here, but let's see what kind of changes have been happening around Betty Jones' old house. The outside, there's a brand new sidewalk and a brand new driveway. And the steps, which were all heaved all over the place, are repaired. I see some railings that look like they're gonna go on. And look, they did sort of a tribute to Betty Jones. There's music notes and piano, a metal sculpture up on the roof there. Let's go knock on the door and see who's home. See if anyone's here. Oh, hey Vince, how are you?
Another political candidate.
This time I'm just here for goodwill and to see what you've done to the house.
Come on in.
So I guess first off, everybody meet Vince.
Hello, YouTubists.
Vince, you are the reason not only that I ended up meeting Betty Jones, but also the reason I had that cool Cadillac for a couple of years too.
Yeah, I knew as soon as it was time to get rid of that Cadillac, you were the guy. While you were cleaning out the Potter's house, I was cleaning out my mom and dad's house at the same time and coming home and watching you at night. The only difference was I wasn't in -40, I was in a warm house.
Well, that makes a difference. And you said that your mom and dad's house was pretty much identical to Betty Jones' house here.
The identical layout, identical construction year, and just 10 blocks that way.
So, yeah, these are post-war houses built kind of in the post-war boom for all the baby boomers. And,
Yep.
And so now you have been getting the house sort of ready more or less, or more usable.
Yep, and have been using it. It's been being used as a music studio for rehearsing soloists, and my Celtic trio just rehearsed last night. And I'm thinking about getting it ready perhaps for Airbnb this winter. I'm not sure.
Wouldn't it be great if you were a musician looking for an Airbnb to have a beautiful piano? Because if we look around the corner here, we'll see that Betty Jones' piano is back where it was, but in a space that's actually quite a bit more usable.
Yeah, it's in the exact same spot, I can tell you that, because I sat at that piano for many, many decades.
Now, Betty Jones was your teacher when you were a child, right?
My first lesson with Betty Jones was exactly 52 years ago.
Wow.
In 1969. My last lesson was only 3 days before she passed away last November.
But you had a space in between. You didn't. It's not like you took 52 years of consecutive.
I took
piano.
25 years off to raise a family and have a career and that kind of thing. But when we came back, it was like we never separated in the first place. It all came back immediately within the first week.
So did she still kind of, when it was come to the lessons, did she treat you like 9-year-old Vince?
A little bit, a little bit, yeah. And then as the years went by, we became more intimate and our conversations were more fun. But yeah, at the beginning, I was little Vincent.
Yeah, little Vincent and smacking your hands, getting in the right spot. She had quite the legacy of teaching. How many students over the years did Betty Joan teach?
We actually counted and it was over 300.
And that was primarily out of this house?
Primarily, although when I first started taking lessons from her, she was still in her mom and dad's house, which was in my neighborhood where I grew up west of here.
Okay. Wow. And this home has transformed. So why don't you kind of walk us through some of the changes that you've made and some of the things that have happened in the home?
The house was so perfectly preserved, you didn't have to change anything. Underneath the hoard was beautiful wood, and this floor is just a gem. Other than moving my mom and dad's furniture in, because it had been in storage for quite a few years, I haven't really done anything other than redo the windows, of course, paint and clean, and that's all you had to do.
The bones of the house were quite good then.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I did see the driveway out front. That's a lot different, and the heaving sidewalk is no more.
Yes, but I'm still waiting for Hans and Zenobia to free up some time so that they can do a retaining wall around the driveway.
Okay, well, I guess they'll hear that loud and clear on this video, I'm sure.
Get back to me. Need a hand before the snow flies.
They have been busy clearing out another house, which was a very full property, and I think that's where all the time's been. I think they're wrapping up on that place, so hopefully they'll get them back. But I guess my question is, when you put the furniture back in this house, did you put it more or less in the types of places that your parents had it?
No. The furniture had been all, of course, moved around, but you'll see some other pieces, and I can tell you the history behind some of that.
Well, I'm looking, that is a really nice little mid-century lamp. This was your parents'?
That was my parents', yeah. That's original, probably a wedding present, 1957.
Yeah, so it got some teak going on, and you said the radio stand or the stereo stand. You got some artwork. So it's actually become a nice, usable property again.
Yeah, I featured some of my great-grandfather's artwork. He was Charles Tye. He was an Edmonton resident right from the turn of the 20th century. So your grandfather did these? Great-grandfather. He worked with the photographer Ernest Brown in Edmonton. He's quite famous. And it's thought many of Ernest Brown's photographs were in fact taken by my great-grandfather.
Wow.
And that's his original oil and pastel paintings.
So you've got an homage to your family and, your longtime teacher, Betty Joan, Madam Rack. You didn't know her as Madam Rack, though, did you?
Miss Rack.
Miss Rack.
I first started, and then when I got back, I figured we're both adults, so I could call her Betty Joan. Oddly enough, I was the only one to call her Betty Joan because she usually went by Betty.
By Betty.
Yeah.
So what can you tell us about Madam Rack, about Betty Joan?
They don't make women like her anymore. Honestly, it was like a time travel portal opened up in the 16th century and she walked through. She never wore pants, skirts all the time. The proper lady, no matter what the circumstances, except she could tell the odd story from time to time.
Oh, I bet.
Very gratifying.
Well, she had sort of, it seemed like, two lives. One where she was here in this demure, proper, teacher of music, and another where she was almost like this bohemian traveler, traveling the world and busking and all that.
Yeah,
so
she was a proto hippie. She and her good friend Bobby Brown, who I hope is watching this, toured all of Europe, all of Asia in the 1980s. They played in front of the Berlin Wall. He had sort of a one-man band act. They played in front of the Berlin Wall a month before it fell. So they were part of history, throughout the latter part of the 20th century.
And what kind of stories could you tell us? I guess, PG friendly stories, but what's a story that we might not have heard, or what's something we might not know about Betty Joan?
Oh, you put me on the spot. Well, she was very much a product of her generation. So post-war, she could tell the odd story from time to time, but she was just as polite and just a personality that came from a previous era. She was a delight to be around. Everybody loved her. All the people she interacted with throughout Edmonton. She'd been an Edmonton resident her entire life. So many, as you're aware, thousands of people knew her by sight because she traveled the buses all over the city, but nobody actually really knew her. I like to think I was her most intimate, confidential friendship.
I remember kind of how silly I felt in retrospect. When I bought the Cadillac, I thought, here's this little lady, probably doesn't have a whole lot of money. She shared her bus pass with her former husband, And boy, I bet she could use that money to go have a trip. And if you recall, we were standing out there and I said, well, maybe you could use this money, Betty Joan, to go on a holiday. And she said, oh, maybe, I'll see. Little did I know she didn't need my pathetic Cadillac money, but...
she could have bought and sold both of us.
She could have bought an airplane and flown there herself.
Well, and yet that was always part of her. She was eccentric and she knew it, but nobody had any idea of what her past or her circumstances were. Right up to the day she died, she was 100% in charge of her faculties and really didn't invite people into that part of her life.
No, and I think that I talked to other piano students that said that they never really got past this front. There was a chair, like the piano, the church pew was here, and they kind of never got past this front area, but they often would see a crack in the door and they knew the house was very full and that there might be some other stuff going on, that they always wondered what was going on in the rest of the house.
I was her closest acquaintance, and I had never been beyond the living room, the washroom on a couple occasions, and the kitchen. And of course, in the back bedroom, when I was 12 and 13, we used to have theory lessons back there at a card table.
That's right, and there was little school desks and folding tables.
Yeah, it was a perfectly usable house for that kind of thing. And then at some point, she stopped having classes back there, and the house basically collapsed down into this front area where she lived.
And she primarily ended up living in this front room, right? This was where she slept on the couch, which I think was by the window.
Yeah.
And this was her world, this one room.
Yeah.
But, you know, she was out, and I would always see her at Starbucks or Tim Hortons or marking or grading papers. So she really lived outside of these walls. I don't think she was home terribly much.
No, and she never ate any meals here. And she would hop on the bus and go to Sherwood Park, Spruce Grove, the bedroom communities around Edmonton. She could travel within a 50-kilometer radius. No problem. She was very independent that way.
Well, let's continue the tour and have a look at some of the other rooms.
Yep, go ahead.
Look at this beautiful old 1930s sofa. It's funny, my dad and we would sometimes stop at abandoned farmhouses when I was a kid. And we went to one and the roof was falling in and there was only one room, the front room was still intact. And it had a set almost identical to this in it. And it was in the same condition. My dad said, look at this. This thing's been sitting in an abandoned farmhouse for however many years and it looks like brand new. And this looks new too.
Yeah, that spent many decades in my mom and dad's basement, basically unused.
You know, the funny thing is, in Canada, we sometimes call couches of a certain type a Chesterfield. And you look, there it is, Chesterfield. Mastercraft.
Made in Edmonton.
Made here in Edmonton. About as Canadian of a couch as you can get.
Yeah, Evan chair.
And the matching chair. This little room, you said this is the room that they used to do music theory in, right?
Yeah.
So that closet was set up so you could go and listen to records.
No, we never.
Oh, you never went in there?
No, the card table was in the middle here, and that paint by number painting on that wall, I recreated from memory.
Yes, yeah.
I spent many hours here, and there's a blackboard up there, and that's where, of course,
the organ.
Pump organ.
There was a pump organ.
I've been there for years, and we took classes here.
And so I guess maybe that was just a place for Betty Joan to go and just sit back.
I think it was Jim, actually.
Oh, Jim.
He was quite a musicologist himself, so he liked listening to his Bob Dylan and Leonard Cohen.
So if he wanted to listen to his music and not interfere with the classes or her piano,
that's where he would have been.
He was summoned to his music room. Go sit in the music closet and
go to your hole.
Go to your hole. Well, okay. And yeah, the floors really turned up nice. The bathroom. You know, you wouldn't be afraid to go in there. When I first went in this bathroom, it was almost like I was afraid to go in it.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
You know, I remember standing here and my friend Paul was, peeling boots off the floor and, there was just all sorts of soap and debris, but you've done a nice job of recreating sort of that subway tile and really kept that vintage look, I noticed.
Original fixtures.
Well, the toilet's new.
Yeah, of course.
But it's made to look old.
Yeah, the sink is cast brass from Galt Brass Works outside of Toronto.
Oh, yeah, that'll last a while. And cleaned up nicely, too.
Yeah,
sure. Are these original spigots?
I don't think so. I think those had been replaced once.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But are these the ones that were in the house when I first saw the house?
I can't remember. My plumbers did some work. They worked too well.
They work too well to have been the ones that were here?
They can't be original.
Okay. And the kitchen is markedly different as well. You kept the pass-through.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So you can have your Thanksgiving dinner and shove it through into the other side. Here's your turkey.
Well, as I mentioned, this probably wasn't used as a pass-through, but probably for a desk phone.
A phone or something,
Which you could answer it from either room, which would have been the height of convenience back then.
I guess it could be whatever you wanted it to be. But I mean, it would be handy. I mean, you're thinking about you're making supper or something, and the kids are like, hey, if you're in the kitchen, can you get me a drink? You're like, fine. There you go. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. They would have, a lot of houses would only have one telephone. And so that would be a convenient place to have it. You could use it in both rooms. You kept the original cupboards.
Yeah, those are original hardware, right down to the screws. Actually, were used in the cupboards. This is birch plywood. They don't make it anymore. It's got all my mom and dad's. You probably know the name for this.
Oh, all the glassware and the dishes.
Yeah, we kept those, cleaned them up, right down to the original breadboard. Still used.
All right, I'm gonna have a peek.
I was going to show you as well.
Oh, you
remember those as well?
Yeah, they were on the outside of the cabinet before, the little lions. Yeah. I remember I had somebody write me and they said, I'd love to have those. And I said, I think they're staying with the house.
And the one thing you didn't see last time, which I have to show, is the ironing board.
Oh, yeah.
So,
you've
recreated an original option that the builder would have provided to the housewife of the new house. It's a little sticky.
But it works.
Yeah.
That is, you've recreated a 1940s Bugs Bunny kitchen.
Basically,
where, you know,
WandaVision.
Where you see like the door open and knock somebody on the head and then little birds go twirling around. But yeah, it's a handy thing to have in the house.
This is now called the Millennial Murphy Bar.
The Murphy Bar.
Yeah, so you got your ice here, your drinks here, your glasses there.
Oh yeah, well, I guess you could use it for pretty much anything.
Yeah.
But now it was painted, I think, before. Did you restain it or stain
No,
it?
it was like this, but it's a solid laminated, well, 4 laminated planks of, I think it's either Douglas fir or ponderosa pine. It's the most beautiful buttery wood you've ever worked with.
Wow, it looks fantastic.
I'm very proud of that. Chandelier, I can't believe it. It's just
chandelier still. It looks like it's all cleaned up.
Yeah, and every jewel on it is original. When I was a kid, we would have stolen those and taken them someplace.
But now they're all in their place, and I see that the little hutch here is the built-in hutch is being used for pretty much. Betty Joan had similar types of things in it before.
Yeah, same vintage.
Well, it's looking fantastic. I'm gonna. Last time I was here, I did not have a look in the basement, so I'm gonna go do that, and then I'll pop back up. And you've got some pictures you want to show us?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'm gonna go take a trip down memory lane to the basement. It looks to me like you painted the basement floor down here.
Yeah, cleaned up and painted.
Yeah, it's looking much. I mean, it's still basement-like. It's similar. I can remember. When I peered around that corner and discovered that whole room was nothing but fur coats. Man, that was insanity. All these little strings that are still here. It's like a weird. I'm having flashbacks of climbing and falling over things and having to try and reach that string to pull the light on.
It's not a bad system.
No, it's not a bad system when, especially considering she couldn't reach anything probably. It was the only system that you could have. But it's definitely looking a lot cleaner and a lot nicer down here in the basement too.
Yeah, this is where the drum kit's going to go and the thrash band will rehearse.
They can, yeah, there you go.
Ventilation.
And now the bedroom can be used as a bedroom again. Very 1950s feeling. Was that your folks' bedroom set that's in here?
Yeah, that's the parents' solid maple bedroom suites.
Maple was a big deal back in the day. It's a good wood.
It's heavy.
It is. So you had, after we hauled all that stuff out, then you brought stuff right back in again. And,
yes.
But it is a usable space and people can come and hang out if they want to play music and have fun. Great little spot for folks. So let's go check out those pictures.
Okay.
You look right at home in front of that piano, Vince.
Well, this piano does not sound like it did. It never sounded that beautiful all the years I played it. So thank you, Alex. When you brought the piano back, I kind of had mixed feelings because I was willing to let it go, but you brought it back and I got it fixed up and it's just beautiful. I spend hours practicing here. It sounds so beautiful.
What, are you gonna play something?
I don't know what to play.
I noticed on the piano there, you've got one of Betty Joan. That's kind of how I remember seeing her when we bought the Cadillac. I think that's a fairly recent picture, isn't
That's one of my favorite pictures of her. You know, this was taken last summer before she got sick. So she had just mowed her own lawn and was quite proud of herself. So I took a picture of her.
And she mowed her lawn in that outfit?
In that outfit, yes, of course.
With all those necklaces and
Yep.
Look at how many bracelets she wore.
Yeah, she was always decked out like that, right to the nines.
She has a ring or two on every finger.
Exactly. Yeah.
It looks like a pocket watch, all kinds of necklaces.
A heavy gold or silver necklace, yeah, and that was her style.
That was her style.
Nothing succeeds like excess. Safety deposit box were a number of originals. I had only seen photocopies over the years. This was Betty Joan's dad, Steve Rack. He was
Rack's Custom Tailoring.
Custom tailor here in Edmonton, outfitter to royalty, and this is him in Miami Beach, 1966, modeling his own creations for some fashion show down there.
Wow, what a dapper fellow he was.
Oh, and I didn't know him well because he was busy working all the years Betty Joan was teaching. But he was very petite, as you can tell. That's where Madame Rack got her tiny stature from.
Yeah, he was a slim fellow. But look how well tailored that jacket is. Very fitted, tapered legged.
Hat matches the fabric, and the hat band matches the tie.
Wow, that's quite the outfit. Well, the ladies all there look pretty impressed with the outfit that's going on.
Yeah, the matrons of Miami Beach. This is a photograph that was taken of Betty Joan's mom, Christina, in 1932 when she set up her first beauty salon in North Edmonton here on 118th Avenue and 95th Street of Edmonton.
Chrissy's, right?
Yeah,
Chrissy's Salon.
Yeah, you could see the brand new hair dryers in the back and the horrible perm rods they used to use.
Oh yeah, you look like you'd be hooked up like Frankenstein with those things. You hook up all those wires to your hair and.
But the expression on her face, I just love. She reminds me of Rosie the Riveter. She did it all herself.
That's right.
It was her own store.
I think I have that same barber chair in my store right now. That same looking one.
Could be, yeah.
Wow. So you did find some photographs in the vault as well, I guess.
Yes, a lot of photographs, actually, and I was going to show some, but actually some cheesecake photos of Betty Joan herself looking her best.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think I sent one to you, Alex.
Yeah, I guess she was not modest when it came to modeling for a camera, I guess.
Yes, but those pictures ended up in the safety deposit box, not for general distribution.
Not for general. She wouldn't want her students. Little did she know that one would end up with some one day, but.
But she was an Instagram influencer before there was Instagram.
Oh, she would have been huge if she was an influencer now with her fashion sense. Oh, she'd be one of the top 10, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And she was going at it. Now that must have been quite an experience. So when we found the keys in the next room, there was what, 5 safety deposit boxes, I think?
There were 5 safety deposit boxes in total.
In total. First one you opened was what?
The first one I opened was nothing but documents. So there was her grandparents' naturalization papers, a number of important documents, as people used to put those in a safety deposit box. So, interesting, but somewhat disappointing.
At that point, you're thinking, what? A safety deposit box for this? Yeah, it must have been a bit of a bummer, that first one.
Yeah, and I really had no awareness, other than Betty Joan had always said the good jewelry was in those safety deposit boxes.
Right.
The second safety deposit box was a double wide, about the size of a large binder, I guess. It had a lot of jewelry in it.
And it wasn't in boxes, was it?
It was basically just all jewelry, no boxes, no bags, no nothing, piled up to the height of the.
She was saving on space.
She was saving on space, and because the gold had been used and the silver had been tarnished, it didn't look like much until we started cleaning it up.
Right.
And we saw what was in there.
I bet. So, I mean, we won't get into I'm sure you had some absolutely crazy things come out of those units.
Yes, there was a lot of crazy things come out of those units. And the third safety deposit box we opened had, very nice jewelry, but it was with its original documentation and its original receipts and everything.
Wow, what a lady. I mean, she must have, I heard stories later that, she'd go into a jewelry store and they'd pull out the tray and she'd pretty much buy the whole tray of stuff.
I would think that would have been the case. There's some very high-end items on there.
That, and 5 or 6 of the same ring if she liked it, or she'd buy multiple bracelets and make them into necklaces. And
yep.
And so we have, you have brought down, my store and I were doing an auction anyway, and you said, hey, I've got some things out of the vault and you're going to add them into the sale. What are the highlights? What are some of the highlights, would you say, that are going into that auction?
There are silver coins, silver ingots. Both her and Jim had a thing for silver, so there's a large amount of that. There is a lot of amber, a lot of natural amber, including one piece that has got lots of insect inclusions.
Okay.
So that's worth quite a bit.
A little Jurassic Park action could happen, maybe?
Dragonflies and mites, and all of that has been appraised. So there are appraisals for approximately, I would say, 50 or 60 of the lots in the auction.
I did notice some gold and some diamonds.
Yeah, there is some vintage gold jewelry and diamonds. A particular note is a designer called Laponia, who is a Finnish from Finland. A Finnish jewelry designer, very big in Europe, and was very big in the 1970s. So there's a lot of 1970s vintage Laponia silver jewelry in there.
Wow. So it's been probably I know how much work it was for Melissa and I to go through even the small amount of stuff that we found here. I can't imagine how much work it's been for yourself and for your wife.
Well, we bought a new jewelry cleaner.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, big industrial one.
Did you buy yourself a diamond tester?
Did not, but all the diamonds of significance have been appraised.
So there were some last time that were noted as clear stone that I think ended up being diamonds. So maybe some people have that opportunity again to find.
There are a large number of lots marked clear stones, yeah.
Okay.
And I do not know if they are real diamonds or zircons or whatever they are.
Okay, so if they're interested, they could go to the auction and
they
test
can,
them out
yes,
or whatever.
but the significant diamond jewelry has been appraised.
Right, so the bigger carats, the bigger stones. Okay.
There's also a lot of faux pearls and low-end stuff that I'm sure will go for just a few dollars. You know, if you want to get a piece of Betty Jones history and not have to pay a lot, there's quite a bit of that stuff as well.
Well, it should be an exciting sale. So I think the postings are going up next week, and then the sale itself starts to end October 3rd, and it will end in completion on October 3rd. So thank you very much for the tour, Vince. So that's it. The house is looking great. Nice to know that he's enjoying the property and making good use of it. Over at the auction, Kastner Auctions, right behind me there. They're a local auction house. Reason I use them, friendly folks that own the place. They ship all over the world. For me, that's really important because we have you guys watching all over the world. Plus, I can't possibly do all of the things I need to do and also pack up a bunch of boxes, and we're selling 1,000 things at a time. It's really the only way to go. We're gonna go inside, do a little bit of a preview and show you what's here. They've been busy getting ready and taking photos, getting them online for the auction sale, which you can visit yourself at kauctions.ca. I have brought down a whole bunch of stuff from my store, from Tonka Winnebagos to old radios, a ton of cameras, a Chatty Cathy. I was looking for one of these not that long ago, and then I find one, and now I don't need one because I got one for my mom already. Decoys, steam tractors, antique books. There is just a pile of stuff. There's amber from Madame Rack. I actually have quite a few pieces of Madame Rack's jewelry that I put through myself. There are, oh, these are really cool. These date back to 1914. They're Harrison Fisher framed lithographs that were done, I think it was for Chatelaine back in the day, but just lovely images, beautiful work, lots of books, toy cars. I mean, pretty much you can name it, it's probably here. This was a cute little piece. Oh, of course, old comic books as well, really early Archies, and I think the Katie Keens are in here too, some of the very first Katie Keene comics. We've got some of those going up for sale. But look at this, it's a little kitchen sink. This is new old stock. The lady that brought this in, this has never been used. There's a tiny little kitchen sink. There's also one that rotates and does multiple things. It turns into a dishwasher and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, I get excited about stuff like this because frankly, I think it's just fun. Military helmets and pictures, Beatles cards. There is a little bit of something for everybody here. There's even artwork that we've had. Melissa and I actually had this painting in our own house for a while. And there's watercolors and pictures. That's a 1950s sort of folk art prairie scene. Just lovely, neat stuff. There's not too much for clothing, but what we did bring down was interesting. It's a beaded jacket, indigenous made Felton beaded jacket, beautiful beadwork on there, lovely 1950s or 60s kind of piece. We've got lawyers' bookcases. Oh, these are kind of interesting. These binders are full of autographs. So we put them up by the binder full, and everything in here, there are famous people. There's musicians, Donovan Bailey, Olympic athletes, you name it. There are just a pile of autographs in each and every binder. And what we've done is we've put all these up. This fella that collected these had, there's a little write-up about why he collected them. He passed on, we ended up with his collection of autographs, and now it's time to pass it on to someone else. But there's advertising. Oh, look at this lamp. We got this great mid-century modern table lamp with the blue shade, lovely piece. The little Batmobile with Robin, shirtless Robin. We'll assume he's headed to the beach to go get in the bat boat. That's there. Replica firearms. There is enough stuff to keep you busy for a really long time. So not only do we have all these collectibles that are going up, really cool little things like that 50s Porsche lighter, silver dollars and quarters. We have a ton of cool stuff that we put through the sale. There's also an abundance of other neat stuff. Oh, look at this. This is a 1839 Anglo-Afghan War Giselle. It's called a camel gun. And not that you would have shot camels with it, because that would be pointless because they're like their horse. But you would have sat upon your camel and shot from it. They have this great long barrel, so they're very precise for the time. And there'll generally be a rest on the camel, so you could rest it and shoot from long distance. This gun, when you didn't have a bullet, you would flip it around and use it as sort of a hatchet. That's why it's got that end on it. And somebody did. It caused a little damage at some point, so it will need a little bit of repair to the stock. But it is generally intact and a really cool piece of early history. And this is what they call a matchlock, where you actually have like a flaming match in there that hits the powder in the gun and fires your round off. Really interesting piece. But I'm going to see if they can show us not just all the cool stuff I've brought down, but I'm going to see if they can show us some of the more valuable and expensive things. I'll see if they have some ready to show. This auction also contains a lot of actual treasure. We have a 14 karat gold Swiss pocket watch. Although the back has become a little bit detached on the base, that's solid 14 karat and is working very well with a beautiful little gold-filled pocket knife there that goes with it on the chain. Lovely little piece. There is a gold, this is for holding your opera glasses. It's tortoise shell and gold. And your glasses clip in there and you'd hold it when you're going out for a fancy dinner. This is a cool piece actually. This is a 1790 gold English sovereign. King George on the back. Really decent shape. Somebody obviously turned into a pendant at one point. It has a little hole on it, but that is a solid gold coin from the 1790s. Excellent piece. But then we've got diamonds. There's 13 diamonds on this gold ring. We've got items from Madame Rack's estate, like this beautiful, ornate little jaguar or panther ring. Look at the detail on that with the little eyes. Lovely piece. We have a solid silver. This is solid silver, folks, and that's an inkwell. Nice antique piece, probably 1800s. Look at this massive 10-ounce silver coin. That's solid silver. If you're looking for some investment pieces, we've even got this gold lady's watch. This is a very early watch that was given to a lady during the First World War by her sweetheart, and I don't think he made it back. The watch survived, and it is a solid gold watch. There are all sorts of treasures here that you just have to go and check out the auction. Again, kauctions.ca. If you wanted a piece from the Madame Rack story, if you wanted some treasures, this is the time to do it. And if you didn't think that was enough to pique your interest for the sale, check this out. Someone's also consigning a Model T. We're putting it through the auction. It's not one of my pieces, but it's super cool. A nice addition for the sale. Heck, it's a Model T. How cool is that? Of course, I have to peek in the door. 1926 Model T. Two-door coupe. It's actually got a nice interior in it. It's a nice older restoration. This happens a lot on these flat glass cars. Slamming that door has a little bit of a crack there, but really looks like a very decent vehicle. So that's it, a busy day. From starting off at Madame Rack's house where it all began, and now to the auction house to see some of the treasures go up for sale. It's your chance to check it out. Kauctions.ca. The sale ends October 2nd. You want to check it out soon, but you can start bidding even now. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. Thank you for watching this update video. And I will do a live stream when the auction is closing. So you have to stay tuned for that, and we'll see how everything closes and ends. Have a great day, guys. We'll see y'all soon, and bye for now.